Hello and welcome to Take Time. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, and let's talk about something toxic. Specifically, nylon straps of the toxic variety, and today I have two examples of some of the finest nylon straps on the market. I have two N80s from ToxicNATOs. As promised, this is the tag-along video to the Royal and Shiznit review I gave earlier this month, and if you haven't had a chance to watch that, there's a card up at the top of the screen. You can view it now or watch this video because honestly, I think the N80 one-ups both of those straps. I have had a lot of time with these two N80 straps you see in front of us, and generally when I wear a watch, it's almost always on a bracelet, but if there's an accessory that gets me to take off the bracelet and not miss it, that is groundbreaking. And these N80s managed to accomplish that almost immediately. So things you need to know about the ToxicNATO N80. They come in either a 20 or 22 millimeter width. They all run the same length of 290 millimeters, just a little over 11 inches in length, and they are 1.2 millimeters thick. That is approximately as thick as the Royal strap, if I'm not mistaken, from Terry, and it is one of the perfect thicknesses of a nylon strap, in my opinion. And honestly, one of the many reasons I prefer this N80 strap to the Shiznit. Now the N80s I'm featuring on the show today run at about $18, so it's a pretty good deal for what you're getting. However, before I move into my overall opinion of the piece, as you guys know here on the channel, I like to start with the bad and then move on to the good before giving you my final opinion. Now, if I'm gonna be nitpicky, extremely nitpicky, and you guys know I like to share my opinions here on the channel, whether they're good or bad. I have almost always the same complaint about all, these NATO style straps, and that I wish they were provided in a longer size, almost always. 290 millimeters is the magic number for my wrist, but if you have a larger wrist, I feel like you're gonna want a longer strap. And even for me, if I could have got a 320 millimeter or whatever the larger scale could have been, that would have been perfect. I could snip it, burn the edges, and have it fit exactly how I like. And generally, when people provide different lengths, they're usually the same cost, and no doubt Terry would do the same. So that would be the only thing. That is probably the only thing I have to say that's bad about the N80. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I have tried on a lot of nylon straps for the show, and I've used a lot leisurely over the years. And it is such a shame that it took me this long to start wearing any of Terry's straps because these things are amazing. So about a year and a half ago, I owned a vintage CWC W10, which was a military issued field watch. And what was really special about the model I picked up was that it actually saw time in service, and the unit itself came with the original NATO strap that it was featured on when it was issued. And this is actually the first of my good notes, but that strap felt extremely cheap, and so does this one. Now, that may inherently sound like a bad note, but hear me out. The nylon strap that came on my CWC felt old and worn, but apart from a few frays, it felt like the same strap they cranked out from the factory on day one. It had a stiffness to it, yet it conformed to the wrist quite nicely. The weave was nice and tight, and it just wore extremely well. And I haven't been able to find another strap that replicated that. And it's a shame because I wound up selling that strap to a collector. He collected vintage military watches and straps, I suppose, and he wanted the strap badly enough and offered me a really nice price. I did it, and it's a shame because I don't own that strap anymore, and I really wish I did. There was something really special about that strap, and I haven't been able to find that with a nylon strap since, up until I started wearing this N80. It doesn't feel premium. It doesn't have the thickness of a premium strap. It doesn't have the nice weave of the Shiznit, but it has this quality that makes you feel like it's built to last. and there's no doubt in my mind that it will. Now, what you guys may or may not know is that Terry puts all of his straps through a patented CTT test. And I'll expound upon that in just a moment, but I do want to touch on the rest of the good notes I have to say about the N80. If you're wondering why the hardware looks similar to the Shiznit, that's because this is indeed the same hardware. You get a cheaper nylon strap, yet you get the same exact hardware featured on his premium offering, and I love that fact about this strap. Same buckle, same first, second, and third keeper. You also get the same style perforations on the tongue end of the strap. Heat sealed to protect against any sort of fraying. And of course, if it does begin to fray, you can heat seal it yourself. Their spacing is perfect. The number of holes on the strap is perfect. Just like the Shiznit and the Royal, there is a wide range of wearability with this strap. Now, cheap is the strangest compliment I've given on this show, I'm certain. Terry, if you're watching this, don't take that the wrong way. But guys, if you own an N80, let me know your thoughts. You know what I mean? It does have a lightness and feel relative to the Shiznit that feels cheap, yet it is definitely built to last. And of course, I want to talk about that CTT test in a second, but here's what the N80 strap will look like when it's holding up your favorite watch head. And when you go to admire it, it's going to look a little something like this. As you can see, it looks really great when paired with this SKX. And this is the kind of like blue-gray military style coloration my CWC had. And I think that's why I felt an immediate bond with this particular strap. It has that same look and feel of a vintage military issued strap. You know, thin, very comfortable, and purely utilitarian. And, you know, he captured the essence of that so well here. You know, I love how the strap looks on the wrist. Again, due to the thinner nature, it doesn't add too much height to the watch. And we all know the SKX is a pretty thick watch to begin with, but it certainly doesn't look bad. And of course, you know, you can either cut off that secondary strap there and have it wear thinner, or simply tuck your wrist in between these two straps instead, but I do prefer this sort of traditional style of having both straps up top. And again, there you go. Same buckle placement and layout as the Shiznit. It wears very comfortably on the wrist. So, what is the CTT test? Well, the CTT test is the car, tuna, and toilet test that Terry runs all of his straps through. So to prove that the hardware on the N80 is as resilient as the vintage straps of old, Terry duct taped an N80 strap to the wheel of his car and ran it around the neighborhood to see how it would hold up. And of course, when he pulled the strap off of his tire, he was still able to wear it perfectly on his wrist. To address the concerns of consumers that their N80 would develop a smell as they found themselves unable to take it off their wrist, Terry soaked one of his N80s in a jar of tuna and tuna oil for 5 days straight, ran it through the sink with a little bit of mild detergent, and voila, fresh as a daisy. And lastly, to address those that were concerned it couldn't stand up to the whirlpool of their toilet bowl, he wound up taping an N80 strap along with an SKX, much like this, to the rim of his toilet to see how it would hold up in the torrents of his toilet. Now, if you couldn't tell, only one of these was an actual test. I believe Terry was just having fun with his daughter on the last one. He did wind up losing the SKX and the strap, so no clear results were found with the toilet test, but all the other ones are accurate. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would anyone be crazy enough to run all of these tests on a watch strap? Well, Terry is just that kind of guy. Terry started ToxicNATOs because he wanted to create a better nylon strap for consumers. Both price, build quality, the hardware choices, everything down to the customer service is something he cared about. And you can see that passion applied to what he does with his company. He's not opposed to completely destroying his product to prove a point. And in the case of the N80, having passed all but one of the CTT test, I'm impressed. I have not owned a strap with as much heritage or interesting history as the N80. But beyond that special quality, it is one of the best nylon straps I've ever tried. The N80 strap exemplifies what a NATO style strap should be: affordable, durable, and fun. This is hands down one of the best nylon straps on the market. And if you're looking to purchase from ToxicNATOs, this is the one I recommend. I mean, honestly, the CTT test put it over the top for me. And when Terry started telling me these crazy stories and showing me these pictures, I just lost it. And the best part about getting one of these straps is you're supporting the business of a really fantastic individual. So props, Terry, for making one of the best nylon straps. And even more props for hooking up my subscribers and viewers and myself with an even better deal on these items. We run a very small program here on YouTube, but I'm very proud of what we do. And I'm so honored that Terry would do this for you guys and myself, really. But if you are viewing this or you are a longtime subscriber to the show and you've wanted to test out a Toxic NATO, you couldn't do it at a better time, because for a limited time, over on ToxicNATO's website, you can go ahead and take 15% off the top of your bill by using the promo code featured on the screen now. Again, this is for only a limited time up until the end of the month, but I'm glad we can host it for you. Again, it's such an awesome deal. I definitely recommend it if you want to get something that's a cut above this cheap old strap, just a cut above the rest. This is a great one to test out. Now, if you found this video informative or in the least entertaining, feel free to hit that like button. It looks a little something like this. If you have friends, forums, or groups that are interested in getting a quality nylon strap, well then send them this video, because I honestly believe that the N80 is some of the best value for the money on the market. And I'm all about the value proposition here. At $18, you can't do better. Actually, you can do better. What is 15% off of 18? It's an even better deal, a slightly better deal. And guys, if this is your first time here on the channel, thank you for watching this video all the way through to the end. I do outrageously long videos, I'm told. I like long form content, and if you do, well then I do these videos twice a week, so come on down. You can hit the subscribe button if you want to see my content pop up in your feed, and you can hit the bell icon next to that to be notified when my videos release, precisely when they release. Again, my name is Patrick Marlett, and thank you for the time.